Federal government initiates reforms to place housing, urban development sector on a progressive trajectory. National Senior Secondary Education Commission seeks partnership with banks on senior secondary education. Central Bank of Nigeria urges banks to ensure fraud reduction and enforce 30-minute response rule. Bringing you the news this hour is Kasitoni. Now to the rest of the news. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has assured Nigerians that all amendments to the Electoral Act will be concluded in time for the 2027 general election. According to the report, Akpabio was responding to questions raised by the Govt Foundation, a civil society group. The Senate President's assurance was conveyed through his special advisor on constitutional matters, Dr. Monday Ubane San, in response to calls by the Foundation for the Senate to reconvene from recess and urgently prioritize the Electoral Bill 2025. Addressing newsmen, Bani said the Senate would take up the bills immediately upon resumption from its recess on January 27th. The Senate President's aide expressed confidence that the legislative process would be completed swiftly. However, the assurance comes after Govt Foundation raised concerns over the Senate's decision to go on recess, despite the time-sensitive nature of the electoral bill. Moving on, the federal government has initiated several flagship reforms that have placed the housing and urban development sector on a progressive trajectory. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Swaip Belgori, who disclosed this in his address at the 14th meeting of the National Council of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, says under the visionary leadership of the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Danjiwa, the ministry has initiated several flagship reforms that have placed the housing and urban development sector on a progressive trajectory. The Permanent Secretary disclosed that the growing demands on public resources have made public-private partnership dispensable in completing government efforts to scale up housing and infrastructure delivery. He further added that the ministry is also intensifying efforts to deepen industrial capacity through the establishment of local building materials manufacturing hubs aimed at reducing construction costs, shortening delivery timelines, and creating employment opportunities. Away from that, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Polytechnics has rejected the review schemes of service for Nigerian Polytechnics prepared by the National Board for Technical Education at a stakeholders meeting held recently in Abuja. The National President of the Union, Philip Ogunsipe, said in a statement that the union's rejection of the reviewed scheme of service was contained in a minority report submitted to the Minister of Education, Dr. Muruf Alausa. The union said they rejected the revised scheme because they introduced sharp disparity between teaching and non-teaching staff at the entry point of employment. According to SSANIP, the new scheme would deny non-teaching staff career progression as it prevents staff with first degree from advancing to content is 15, which is equivalent to grade level 17. In another report, the National Senior Secondary Education Commission has sought partnership with WEMA and First Bank to boost senior secondary education through improved infrastructure, digital learning tools, and teacher capacity development. The Executive Secretary, NSSEC, Dr. Iyila Ajayi, who made this known during courtesy visit to the management of the two banks in Abuja as part of effort to mobilize private sector support for human capital development, stated that senior secondary education remained a critical but previously rejected segment of the education system, stressing that government alone could not adequately fund quality education. Dr. Ajayi said the proposed collaboration would be mutually beneficial, and contribute to national development, adding that the senior secondary education is critical to character formation, skills development, and smooth transition to tertiary education. Still in the news, Edo State government had threatened to take appropriate legal action against government officials who allocated lands belonging to the State Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation across its facilities in the state capital and beyond. The commissioner in charge of the ministry, Honorable Washington Osifo, gave this declaration when he visited the ministry's facilities, where some of the encroachers who have been building permanent structures claimed they were given the allocations by officials of the Water Corporation, which is an agency under the ministry. On the government's plan to provide public water to the people, the commissioner said the developments in the urban areas, the government of Monde Okpebolo was looking at going into the rural areas to provide public water before the urban areas, which public water infrastructure has been distorted by urbanization activities and the sinking of boreholes by individuals. Moving on, Central Bank of Nigeria has challenged banks and payment service providers to commit to measurable reductions in electronic fraud. Speaking at the 2026 Nigerian Electronic Fraud Forum technical kickoff section with the theme Shrinking Fraud Losses with ISO 20022 and Identity Management, the Deputy Governor, Financial System Stability, CBN, Philip Okezo, said the industry must move beyond fragmented controls and adopt enterprise-wide, data-driven fraud management system capable of delivering tangible results. He also urged institutions to respond to suspicious transactions within 30 minutes under the framework of the Nigerian Electronic Fraud Forum. Away from that, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has advised the Nigerian government to deliberately target global investors and supply chain relocations to reduce import dependence, deepen manufacturing, and drive job creation. She made the remarks at Nigeria House during the ongoing World Economic Forum in Davos. During a panel discussion titled From Scale to Capital, Financing Nigeria's Role as African Digital Trade and Infrastructure Anchor, the WTO chief stressed that raising geopolitical tension, particularly between the United States and China, have accelerated supply chain diversification. According to her, this disruption presents an opportunity for Nigeria to capture a share of global supply chains. She, however, noted that this will require aggressive marketing of the country to prospective investors. In another report, Dr. Deji Adeleke, father of Afrobeat star David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, has revealed that DNA tests confirm his son is not the father of a girl, Anu, who had been at the center of a controversial paternity dispute. Adeleke, who made this known while addressing newsmen at his Lagos home, explained that the girl is not his son's child, as proven by DNA tests conducted at multiple hospitals in Lagos. The businessman said he first learned about the case in 2014 when he received a letter from a lawyer in Ibadan alleging that Davido had impregnated a woman, Ayo Labinjo, and abandoned the child. Adeleke, who is a grandfather of 14, stressed that while he welcomes grandchildren, science must guide the confirmation of paternity. Adeleke said 3 DNA tests were conducted for Davido. 2 came out negative, while the 3rd sample was declared contaminated and spoiled. Meanwhile, Adeleke claimed that a sister of the girl informed him that the social media accounts alleging Davido had abandoned Anu and her mother were opened and managed by a media personality without the family's consent. And that's it on the news this hour. I am Cassie Tony.